For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Newspin calling, 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 calling. Newspin calling, 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 calling. Newspin calling, 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 calling. Across the land, all across the world, echoes of voices, we join hand in hand. Harmony rise in the afternoon sun. Come along, Newspin has begun. Newspin is the best, better than all talk show. Most monitored talk show in the world. Truth from St. Lucia to sandy shores, from cities and hills to the Caribbean breeze. We sing together, hearts at ease. Education to open every mind. Learn about your country, leave no one behind. When Newspin is on your radio, come along hands in hands, voices in unity, singing loud. Newspin, who's the best, better than all talk show. Most monitored talk show in the world. St. Lucian's heart to the world's every land. Knowledge unites us hand in hand. Yeah, Tim on Newspin call, bridging gaps between us all. Voices lift on high, under one sky we unify. Tim on Newspin call, bridging gaps between us all. Voices lift on high, under one sky we unify. Newspin is on education for all, from city streets to mountains tall. Learn your history, share your dreams. Together we light the world with our flame. Newspin is the best, better than all talk show. Most monitored talk show in the world. Better than all talk show. Most monitored talk show in the world. Newspin is the best, better than all talk show. Most monitored talk show in the world. Yeah, Newspin is the best, better than all talk show. Most monitored talk show in the world.
Most monitored, and we have the best intro. Welcome to another edition of Newspin. It's on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the Newspin Facebook page as well as the Newspin YouTube channel. Don't forget, subscribe and also share. We go up until 2 o'clock this afternoon. And later, your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Jante is here going through your comments in the chat rooms, and she'll have a couple updates for us. You don't know what to expect between now and when we conclude the broadcast. We always have a few surprises. We hear a lot about food security from many people in St. Lucia, including the island's Prime Minister, who is fond of saying, eat what you grow and grow what you eat. And for how long we've been hearing that? Not anything new, nothing innovative. For eons now, we have been hearing this tagline that's being used by many agriculture ministers in St. Lucia and the numerous administrations. And what do we have to show for it? As of 2023, a food import bill of about EC $1.5 billion. Yes, $1.5 billion in 2023. So we're not moving the needle in terms of reducing our food import bill and becoming self-reliant. CARICOM had this grand idea of reducing the food import bill of the region by 2025. They had to revise it to what? 2030. So apart from Guyana, Suriname, we are not producing much in terms of agricultural produce in the other islands. And all we do is pay lip service. We panic every now and then. There's a war in the Middle East involving the United States, Iran, and Israel. And we talk about, if we cannot import certain items into St. Lucia, mostly food items at that, because of the Strait of Hormuz has been closed. And what will happen to us? We'll be able to feed ourselves for more than 1 week, and we start to panic with good reason, because we have not demonstrated the kind of leadership that is warranted, that should coincide with the lip service. We say all the right things, but take for example your Ministry of Agriculture. And I'm not making the Ministry of Agriculture an issue just because Lisa Jawayer is the new minister, but it has been of immense concern as to why we cannot diversify agricultural produce in St. Lucia, as to why there are certain times on the island you have a glut on the market, you have so much of certain food items, and there's another time when you have a serious shortage, to the extent that people in the tourism sector, they complain a lot. They can't get this, they can't get that, they have to import it from Miami and elsewhere. But we have people, technocrats, in the Ministry of Agriculture, in the Ministry of Commerce, in the Ministry of Tourism, all aimed at ensuring that there's this symbiotic relationship between tourism and agriculture. The lip service again. And those are things that we don't take seriously, especially when it's coming from a particular source. Why focus on agriculture when at this particular juncture we are not facing or experiencing any major threats? There's been a cessation in the war in the Middle East. They call it a ceasefire. It's supposed to last for at least a fortnight. But the precarious nature of life, the unpredictable nature of our governments, particularly in Washington, we know that any time from now, this ceasefire can cease to exist. And what we'll do? We'll panic yet again. And it's a number of you people out there who are poor, who are indigent, who will not have the requisite finances to purchase items at the supermarkets at exorbitant costs. But do you care about the possibility of you experience such discomfort? You don't. Because you are living in the moment. So now you can go and buy your little chicken backs for sometimes $8 and something cents a portion, $9. No longer, I don't think you get 65 chicken backs at 65 cents a pound or 95 cents a pound, etc. So you don't care. I stumbled upon a piece of information involving India. And this should certainly open our eyes in St. Lucia. India's people have the legal right to food. I'll repeat that again. The people of India, the most populous nation in the world, that country, the people, they have the legal right to food. The Constitution of the Republic of India has directive principles that contribute to realization of the right to adequate food. And India has become a state party to the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, ICESCR, in 1979 by way of accession. St. Lucia, by the way, has not signed this, has not become a state party to this ICESCR. But what we rely on in St. Lucia is we pursue food security through various initiatives with the help of a number of agencies, including the Food and Agriculture Organization. So you people out there again who can't afford to get food, who can't pay for it, and there are many people, you might not understand that, there are many people who are experiencing this on a daily basis. And I know somebody will say, particularly a supporter of the government, that's a lie. Y'all people in St. Lucia who can't take care of themselves, y'all people in St. Lucia who can't feed themselves. You listen to Mr. Feta Ishmael when he called Newspin yesterday, and be hearing from him during the course of the broadcast. Just because you are getting a few handouts from the government, you're getting some contracts, you among a few people in St. Lucia are benefiting from the sale of our passports, does not mean that there are not people on the island who are struggling. And I just don't understand why. A lot of you don't understand that. Maybe you're suffering from a lack of empathy. You just can't identify with other people. So the fact that through CIP, for doing nothing, maybe you're earning a few $1,000s every month, you don't understand that there is poverty in St. Lucia. And not only people who are poor, but people who are even worse than being poor. And we call it indigent. You are indigent. And so when we hear the Prime Minister boasting about the need and talking about the need for food security, you ask, what exactly is he doing to ensure that if we reach a stage where our borders are closed for the next few months, whether we'll be able to feed ourselves? And that's the big test for any country. And whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to give credence to it, whether it makes sense to you, Switzerland is one country that has stored food items, commodities, for several months. Don't talk about China. Are we that broad and progressive in our thinking in St. Lucia? And I could tell you, it has been quite a while. We took a break, but it's quite a while. Newspin has been on this crusade pertaining to the need for us to be able to feed ourselves. Food security. We've been preaching this long before Mr. Philip J. Pierre was Prime Minister of St. Lucia. And let's talk about Philip J. Pierre. Let's hear and let's listen to the Prime Minister, because it was some 3 years ago. He was preaching the same thing at the opening of a cassava processing plant to diversify St. Lucia's agriculture sector. Now, I'm not against the opening of such plants and preaching food security, but what are you doing about it? I think recently the Prime Minister is talking about tangibles. Where are the tangibles where this is concerned? Here's the Prime Minister.
Yes. We have to instill that kind of development in the mindset of our young people. And that comes, and we add it to the fact that we can get our young people to change their tastes. To change their tastes. We know that it's many young people like, and I don't want to be macaroni and cheese, nothing wrong with it. But there's also green fig salad, and sweet potato salad, and breadfruit salad, and plantains. Local food with the same carbohydrates, but better carbohydrates, and foods that we can grow in St. Lucia, and foods we can grow in St. Lucia. We can add value to it, and we can improve the nutritional value in that food and help our young people.
For so many years, Jante has been fed on green fig salad. So many years. For so many years. She doesn't like the breadfruit when you boil it, but she has been fed breadfruit salad. And it's only now, we're being so creative, we're being so ingenious in terms of our food security. That's what we're making reference to. Green fig salad and breadfruit salad. Breadfruit salad. The breadfruit. Sometimes you have the breadfruit balls with salt fish. That's how creative our people have been for decades, for eons, alongside getting involved in the water harvesting. There's nothing new, nothing creative about this. This will not at all help us respond effectively to any challenges relating to a food shortage in St. Lucia, because the people have been doing it on their own for decades. We need to be more innovative. We need to be more creative. We need to be for people to suggest things that we have not heard before. So let's listen to the president of Guyana on this whole food security thing and, producing more food for the people of the country.
I'm encouraging all our businessmen and women in Georgetown, in Region 4, and the rest of Guyana, especially those with liquidity, to come and partner with the villages in this type of production. Remember, we give all the tax incentive, zero corporate tax for everything in agriculture, zero tax. because we want you to come where the land is. Partner with the villages, partner with the farmers, and let's do this. Let's expand this. This is what the future is about. Not talking, doing it every day. And these are the guys working with that vision. Opportunities are there. Seek and you shall find. It's time for our investors to come out of their comfort zone and be bold. When I say to be bold and innovative, this is what bold innovation is. And you know you have a government, communities and people who are ready to support your investment. Let's do this.
The president of Guyana, and that's Dr. Irfan Ali. That's the challenge, that we want our new agriculture minister to take, Lisa Jawayer. Instead of taking a deep and personal interest in Newspin. And talking about taking a deep and personal interest in this broadcast. Yesterday, a gentleman called, Fatah Ishmael. From where I'm sitting, I tell you he was close to tears. And you will hear him in just a moment. He has a disabled child. And he has been calling on the authorities to assist. He made particular reference to the ministry with responsibility for equity. The equity ministry. So he's not getting the help. And when we got off the air yesterday, I got at least 3 calls. And none came from any ministry of equity official. I was expecting to get a call from Lisa Jawayer. She did not call because important things to focus on. But remember, when I made a particular comment, she took issue with it and she rushed to write some reaction, to make some pronouncement on it via Facebook. Not a word from her regarding the plight of this disabled child and his or her father. But I got calls. People were interested. They wanted Mr. Ishmael's number. They wanted to help. They wanted to bring some kind of relief to the family. But he made one error. Mr. Ishmael should have made that call to Newspin, the most monitored talk show in the world, in November of last year. Towards the end of November, in the run-up to the December 1st general election. And believe you me, he would have gotten assistance from the then prospective MP for his constituency. He would have gotten assistance from the hacks. He would have gotten assistance from the Prime Minister and the then individual serving in the Ministry of Equity. But your timing, sir, was very bad. You called on the 9th of April. This is what Mr. Ishmael said during that heartbreaking contribution yesterday.
Equity, please, if they could come and see what's going on with me. I'm 66 years old. A lady leave a child from me, disabandoned that child is 3 years now. She come and visit that child for in 3 years only twice. And right now I have to deal with all the issues. I need a caretaker. My living condition is not good. And nobody, and people have come through me for so many years. I get some promises from someone that was there to help me. This one I already sent a notice to them. Up to now, team, nobody has helped me, and hurricane season is coming. I have to move. I have to go because I have this disadvantaged child. That child, I can't deal with it alone right now because he's disabled and he's getting really big and stuff. The mother don't care with him. As I say, is only twice in 3 years the mother come and check her. Her name is Delia Ismail. You all know her very well at Equity.
Okay. Hold on.
Yeah, you all know her.
Let me ask you, what is your number? If the folks of at the Ministry of Equity are listening and they would want to contact you, what is your telephone number, sir?
715
715
5726.
5726 715 5726. And I'm sure that since you said that you have taken your issue to the Ministry of Equity, that they would be familiar with your situation. But
let me give you more. Let me give you a little more, Tim.
Yes, sir.
I am supposed to have a caretaker to take care of my child with me because of my living conditions, Tim. I live in Cedar Heights and my toilet is still outside of my house. My bathroom is still outside of my house.
Mm-hmm.
How can I take a caretaker to come and take care of a child for me for 3 years right now? Right now, I tell you, I'm 66 years old. I can't do it anymore. I need some help.
Those words, I need some help. I need some help. A cry for help. Let's listen to the gentleman again, Mr. Fatah Ishmael.
Equity. Please, if they could come and see what's going on with me. I'm 66 years old. A lady leave a child from me, disabandoned that child is 3 years now. She come and visit that child for in 3 years only twice. And right now I have to deal with all the issues. I need a caretaker. My living condition is not good. And nobody, and people have come through me for so many years. I get some promises from someone that was there to help me. This one I already sent a notice to them. Up to now, team, nobody has helped me, and hurricane season is coming. I have to move. I have to go because I have this disadvantaged child. That child, I can't deal with it alone right now because he's disabled and he's getting really big and stuff. The mother don't care with him. As I say, is only twice in 3 years the mother come and check her. Her name is Delia Ismail. You all know her very well at Equity.
Okay. Hold on.
Yeah, you all know her.
Let me ask you, what is your number? If the folks of at the Ministry of Equity are listening and they would want to contact you, what is your telephone number, sir?
715
715
5726.
5726 715 5726. And I'm sure that since you said that you have taken your issue to the Ministry of Equity, that they would be familiar with your situation. But
let me give you more. Let me give you a little more, Tim.
Yes, sir.
I am supposed to have a caretaker to take care of my child with me because of my living conditions, Tim. I live in Cedar Heights and my toilet is still outside of my house. My bathroom is still outside of my house.
Mm-hmm.
How can I take a caretaker to come and take care of a child for me for 3 years right now? Right now, I tell you, I'm 66 years old. I can't do it anymore. I need some help.
Here's hoping, sir, that your plea will fall on the heart of somebody who is a philanthropist. Don't know if we can depend on the Ministry of Equity or the government of St. Lucia to provide you with some subsistence, some level of assistance. I don't know, because the first time you called Newspin and you were again issuing this plea for assistance was a little over 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And for you to be calling again in 2026, then this is clear indication that no one has found it fitting to provide you, or the state in particular, I won't say no one has provided you with assistance, because I know a number of private citizens who provided you with some support, but this kind of support that is required by the state to ensure that the living condition of your child and yourself is one that is continuous and is sustainable, certainly that has not been done. That is why we elect governments into office, to improve the lives of our citizens. Not everyone will be in a position to build a 3-story building and call it a home. Not everyone would be in a position to own 5, 6, and 7 vehicles. Not everyone is in a position of power to indirectly or even directly use their position, their high office, to enrich themselves. There are some people in this country who are poor, who are helpless, and in such circumstances, the state must intervene on their behalf. Let's take your calls right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Good afternoon to you, Jante. Let's find out what is happening in the chat rooms.
Good afternoon, Tim. Starting off on YouTube, our first comment reads, all SLP does is criticize Shasni. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, aka the President of the Republic of Labri, has not said Gwek since November 2025. Tim, what exactly does the mother do? There was a Minister of Crime Prevention in 2021 to 2025 who never said Gwek during this time. Moving to Facebook, our first comment reads, if Labours want people to boycott Newspin, they have to pay just like they did for elections. Pierre might tell us to go fishing for crayfish in the Marshall River to help reduce the food import bill. Tim, the war has started again. We have another comment saying, that Eat What You Grow slogan by PJP is a big joke. Give prisoners on good behavior a job to work the farms, invest in fast-growing crops and cattle. It's unbelievable how expensive things are in St. Lucia. We have a few more comments reading. Tim, you will have to order bulletproof vests for new spinners when you play PJP. Tim, what did you understand from PJP? And you're not stopping eating steak. We have another comment reading, sweet potato salad. Tim, Guyana is the only country in the world that can fit its whole population. St. Lucians are lazy. All they want to do is eat KFC. We have more comments from our Facebook page reading, I am 100% sure PJP fell on his head when he was a baby. Something is wrong. Tim, someone needs to tell him that the price of breadfruit, green figs, sweet potato, etc. that he speaks about. But fig salad is just as bad as mac and cheese. We have another comment saying, Mr. Fatal is in dire need of help. RF, where's the balance of the monies from the Taiwanese government for housing? If elections were near, all of them would have assisted him just to take photos with him. Only SLP hacks don't want to accept that something is seriously wrong with Pierre. Another comment reading, the lazy St. Lucians are the ones who wanted to get paid to vote. After you'll use them to win elections, now you're talking down to them? Shasni would have gotten this guy help. And our final comment, poor Jab, where are those who put the people first? Isn't Mr. Fatal a person? Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Janti, for that update. Somebody says there, Tim, the welfare unit has personally assisted this gentleman. He's received a wheelchair and other means of support from the unit. I can personally attest to this. But how? But long term, how has this affected him, impacted him, his plight? Look, a wheelchair. Okay? Based on what the individual just said there. Personally assisted this gentleman. In what way? He has received a wheelchair and other means of support from the unit. Does he receive that assistance on a continuous basis in terms of the financial assistance every month? His home. Because we had a program recently where homes that are dilapidated in St. Lucia would have been rehabilitated, would have been fixed, right? The government said they would not be building any new home for you. But if your home needed a few plywoods, etc., they would have fixed it. This gentleman doesn't he qualify for that kind of assistance from the state? This piecemeal approach that we adopt towards the poor in this country, the poor people that we have a lot of time for in the run-up to a general election, has got to stop. Did we do something that is sustainable, something viable for the gentleman? Let's hope that the Ministry of Equity will come out and address that particular officially. 4522979, your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And let us see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says, why is the Minister of Housing quiet? Is he busy building his apartment complex in Bordeaux? That's according to a WhatsApp message. Some more of your messages, and somebody says there, yesterday I had the opportunity to listen to Mr. Xavier, and his insights on the crime situation in St. Lucia were truly impressive. I firmly believe that the police force should establish a new task force with Mr. Xavier at the helm to tackle this pressing issue. Mr. Prime Minister, I won the recipe to all your salads. Now you have become a nutritionist. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have a call in the landline. In the meantime, let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. And somebody says there, respect to, definitely not partisan. It's time these politicians, especially those in position, give to them by the people, check themselves. They must begin to follow leaders who are genuine about doing their job. That's according to WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. And the person says there, I think you hit the nail on the head. Shame they suffer from a lack of empathy, humility, and humbleness. They have forgotten where they came from and the people they had to step on to get to the top of the ladder. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, I think every hotel should adopt some farmers or some area of St. Lucia where farmers operate and produce food. I think hotels should be adopting farmers so that agriculture, our import bill could be reduced also. We could grow more with the help of the hotels because agriculture and tourism work hand in hand. I think that's a good idea because since they're still selling all our land by our beaches and stuff, I think every hotel should adopt farmers on the island. Continues, even Marcian CPJ and all those 2 supermarket chains should also adopt farmers and stop paying farmers 90 days for their produce and stuff. I think they should be paid every month and thereabout or as soon as possible. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have some more of your messages. Timmy needs a better place to stay. The famous doctor who is at the head of Rise St. Lucia Inc. Are you hearing the cries for help from the gentleman? Some more of your messages. Somebody says the Lucians don't care about anything that is going to benefit or make their lives better. Lucians just like to suffer. When Alan Shastney said that he is going to make sure that everybody has proper health care, what did they do? Vote against it. So now they are getting what they deserve. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have some more of your messages. And somebody says that good day, happy weekend to you. Can you please let Wasco know that the people of Upper Mornier haven't had water for the past 12 days? Thank you. So the people of Upper Mornier, they have been without water for nearly a fortnight now. That's according again to our WhatsApp message. Let's see if let's take a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, Newspin, you on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Timothy Poleon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, sir.
I was just listening to something that you were reading there. It's saying that farmers are waiting 90 days for the payment from Massey and other CPG and them.
Yes.
Can can I state that as a former farmer, this is not true as it relates? I don't know.
Okay,
but I'm telling you,
that is not your experience.
No. A Massey pays. You sell to Massey, you get paid every Friday.
Okay.
So when if you sell, either if you fought or cash it, you get paid by Friday. CPJ is the same thing, a week.
Okay.
I was a seller to a hotel, and I don't know the 90 days thing at all. I don't know it. Coconut Bay pays you within a week. So I don't know where all of this misinformation is coming from. And I am not a fly-by-night or a Johnny-come-lately. I'm telling you what I know, what I have experienced. You understand me?
Okay.
And I really think that you should get some clarity from these organizations and compared to what the farmers are saying. Are saying. Now, and I also have an issue. I am all up for the food import bill being reduced. But I think one of the biggest problems we have in agriculture in St. Lucia are farmers ourselves. We will get a contract to sell to a hotel right now. And for the first few months, everything is okay. And then all of a sudden, lack of communication, we do not even let the people know that we will not have the following week. You understand me? And they are depending on us. So the importation, I think it's always almost a guaranteed thing for them. You understand me? We do well as farmers in St. Lucia, but we fall short miserably when it comes to sticking to our demand. There are farmers who are able to do it, you understand me? But most of us as farmers are not able to do that. If you look at it, you pass by the road at certain times, everywhere you pass you will find melons by the road. And there are times you will not find a melon to make a medicine. You understand what I'm telling you? So have a good afternoon.
You too, sir. Thank you so much. Somebody says there, let your WhatsApp contributor know that Massey pays farmers 1 week after delivery and not 90 days. Thank you so much for that contribution. All right, let's see there. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And let us see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says that, Tim, when suppliers delay on submitting their invoices, payments will be processed late. Customers always give half the story and they complain. Thank you so much for that WhatsApp message. Another person says, whatever the caller said about Massey and CPJ, I sell to both establishments. And with both, you get paid by the 15th and the 30th. With Massey, if you have a bank account, the payment is put there. Thank you so much for all those contributions in defense of Massey and CPJ. Another one says there, good day. It's hard to believe that the traffic lights next to AA in town, still they have not been fixed. They have been out of service for months, possibly over a year, and no one seems to be addressing the issue. Are we waiting for an accident to occur before action is taken? That's according to a WhatsApp message. Another comment there. Somebody says there, as we speak, the government should send those who want to commit crime to the war zone. That's the beauty place for the criminals. Give them to Trump in exchange for the people Trump wants to send here. At least the families will get money for them if they don't survive during the war. Some of your WhatsApp messages. We have a WhatsApp call. Good afternoon to you. This is Newspin. You're on the air.
Hey, good afternoon, Tim and John T.
Yes, good afternoon to you, caller.
I listened to the Prime Minister, and like you said earlier, he's repeating everything every minister, Prime Minister, whoever before him has said. But when you're in the head of a country, in the government and stuff like that, you recognize the problem, an issue to be dealt with. You come and you voice the problem. At least that's what real leaders do. You tell us what your strategic objective or your planning to address that problem is, and then you let the population know how they can be involved. Here's a program the Ministry of Agriculture is putting forth. Here's what we're going to do for farmers to encourage you. We're going to supply this. We're going to get fertilizer at X percentage discount. We're going to make X amount of land available. I'm not saying that's what they should do. I'm saying that's the kind of conversation you have with your country. You don't come and just tell the country, oh, you do this and you do. It's like you as a boss walk into a room, you have 100 people working in front of you. You do this, you do that, and you don't give them the tools. You don't give them any clear directive. There's no strategic plan. There's no business plan. They don't know what the benchmarks are, how they're going to achieve it, when they're going to achieve it. You don't have none of these things in place. You just come every time the microphone comes in front of you. And I'm saying that because I'm getting tired of him doing that. I'm waiting for him. I watch him and I'm waiting for him to come forth and say something. And I'm not saying this as a supporter of one party or the next. I'm saying this as a solution, because I'm of the opinion that we run our campaigns, we run our election, and the morning after the election, the prime minister that gets elected is my prime minister, is the prime minister for the whole country. And I want to see that person succeed. We all want to see the country succeed. The people, even if I support a particular party, the people in that party who says that's not my prime minister, the other person is. No, I hear people say Alan Shastri will always be my prime minister. No, he's not the prime minister. Philip J. Pierre is the prime minister. He himself needs to understand that. He needs to have all our support. He needs to reach out to all of us and everybody, because St. Lucia cannot be built with either SLP or UWP. It has to be St. Lucians, everybody, to build a country. Saying that, he has to speak with everybody and say, here is the problem, here is what we're going to do. He does the same thing with the water issue. Try to blame people, look for everything to blame them. And tell people, harvest water. Well, you know, what 50-something years ago, my dad built his house. He built a 10,000, 20,000, whatever amount of thousands of big tank behind the house, one on top of the house, pump water from one to the next. We've been doing this for decades. Here's the problem with harvesting water. A lot of the water in St. Lucia is being harvested in plastic containers. These big, not to scare people out, but you see these big black drums there? I asked somebody who's in the water business here, and he told me they're in that business as well. Those drums, the lifespan of the coating, he gave me the name, which is too long and too scientific, I can't remember it, but I could find it if I need to. The coating in those drums, in the heat in St. Lucia, will last 5 to 10 years. Which means you're supposed to take out those big black drums you have there and have them recoated in 5 to 10 years. That means if you don't do that, there's plastic chemicals leaching in the water that you're using. You're cooking with, bathing with, eating with, brushing your teeth with, maybe even drinking. So even harvesting the water comes with a cost, environmental, health cost. The little plastic bottles I see everybody in St. Lucia drinking water from, I refuse to do that, because these plastic bottles on their own, coming from a cool place to another cool place, is fine. But these things are transported in the heat in trucks that are not cooled. They sit in people's storerooms, and I saw them. They sit in storerooms which heat up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That plastic leaches chemicals in that water. And then they take it, put it in the fridge, it gets cool, you drink this. We see the incidence of cancer in St. Lucia, cancer of this and cancer of that like never before. It's not from one place, it's from all different sources, but that's a contributing factor. If you go online and look at the chemicals leaching in water from plastic, your eyes will pop out of your head. And we're telling people, get more of these drums, harvest their own water, when even the World Health Organization and Pan American Health Organization, if you go on their website, it will tell you the healthiest water to give people is the water that's being treated, that's coming through the pipe. Okay? That water we're collecting from the rain has, I forgot the name of a chemical that's in the environment, created by plastic and fumes and stuff like that. Even if St. Lucia does not produce it, the fact that the air comes from all over the place, even the Sahara dust comes with problems, you know? So the air circulates around the world, it comes with all the environmental problems that falls in our rain that we collect. I'm not telling people don't collect the rainwater, we do it as well, but that comes with a problem. It's a hazard to our health to have all these plastic containers. So when you tell people do things, you have to do it from a scientific and from a real standpoint and give people real solutions. Every day is get your water, grow your own food. Well, what's your plan? You have a $2 billion budget, you're the prime minister of the country, you have a minister of agriculture, you're paid handsomely to give us solutions. You're telling us to do something we've been doing for the longest while, and you're not offering any solutions. The next thing I want to talk about is the prime minister said he doesn't know anything about the gun amnesty. He said that, I don't know anything about gun amnesty. In this small island, even those who live in overseas, everybody who heard the news or listened to Newspin know about the gun amnesty. How come the prime minister could stand up in the microphone and lie and say he didn't know about the gun amnesty? But then, that same news report says, in that same news briefing, he says, it was a success. It wasn't a failure. So how come you don't know about it, but you know enough to know it wasn't a failure? So you line on one of the counts. Which one is it? You knew about it or you don't know about it? You cannot be both at the same time. But you and I both know, if right now you go to fish and you come back without a fish, isn't that a failure? You didn't get a fish. If I go take my basket and say I'm going to the mango tree, I'm going to pick mangoes, and I come back without a mango, that's a failure. You had a gun amnesty to get guns. That was what you wanted to do. You did not get the gun. That's a failure. It's clear and simple. They need to stop mama-guying people. And we have people in St. Lucia's little brains, so they don't even engage the brains to understand that they've been lied to and they've been taken for a ride. You know, they need to. We cannot develop a country by dividing it, and the people who are in charge of problems coming to tell us blame somebody who was there whenever. Don't blame them. Look at the water issue. You said the government of the last UWP government removed 8% of the silt, but you had 4.5 years. You didn't remove not even 1 teaspoon. But you want to make us believe that they're the problem and not you. So why didn't you continue? If you are so much better, you had almost 5 years to remove the silt. Right now, we should be a quarter of the thing should have been removed. You know, and you put people in charge who don't know what they're doing. Right now in St. Lucia, we have a very well-educated and tried person who's in hydrology, water, whatever it is she is in. She went to the top 3 countries for water resources and water management in the world: Denmark, I think, Finland, and Sweden. Oh, somewhere around there, but I know Denmark is in the top 3. Even Canada comes number 4, number 5. Canada has almost a quarter of the world's water and still doesn't manage it as well as Denmark. This St. Lucia went to school in Denmark. She's a PhD in water resources and water management and stuff. She's in St. Lucia. She does not want to stay over there. They have her doing remote work for them, but they wanted to stay in Denmark. She wants to stay in St. Lucia. She's in St. Lucia. They will not employ her at that, no matter how many times she tried to get a job there, because her father supported the United Workers' Party. And I'm not just saying that. I have the proof. I got the proof for that. They will not employ her because her father is a supporter of the United Workers' Party.
What's her name, caller? What's her name?
I don't know. I'm at liberty to give her name, but I know her father's last name.
Okay. What's her father's last name?
I don't know. His last name is Cox. He's going to kill me, but his name is Cox. Okay.
All right.
His daughter, the woman, has a PhD in hydrology, managing water, sourcing water, purifying water, distributing water, and she's sitting there begging Wasco for a job for years, and they don't employ her. But we employ people who are close to the party. It doesn't matter the morning after election, you won, you look for the best solutions who are capable of doing the job. Over here, we work for people we never support. They know we don't support them. I walk into a governor's office and I say, I'll never lift a finger to vote for you. I never voted for you and I never vote for you. He says, put your ass over there and do my job for me. You do the job you're employed to do. And we need to understand that in St. Lucia. That business of only putting the boys and the girls, if they have the skills, sure. We all have to look out for our people and stuff. I understand that. Everybody does it. Every party does it. But we need to look for people. When you tell me the pipes under the UWP, they ordered all these pipes in St. Lucian money. They're sitting there. And you haven't installed not one of them. We need to do better than that. Don't just come and tell us, do this, do that. Give us a plan. We need a strategy. We need to know what you're telling us to do, how you're going to support us, where we're going to get the resources. That is how you solve problems. What we're getting right now is kakameme, and it's not good. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Still to come, more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. And, of course, we'll have some updates from Janté. Stay with us.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street, Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
Celebrate the extraordinary women in your life this Mother's Day at Bay Gardens Resorts. Join us on Sunday, May 11 for a day dedicated to honoring Mom. Choose from 3 spectacular celebrations. Treat Mom to the elegance of our Pretty in Petals event at Bay Gardens Marina Haven for EC $160 per person. Experience jazzy vibes and culinary excellence at our Jazzy Mother's Day brunch at the Bay Gardens Hotel and Inn. A perfect blend of entertainment and indulgence for EC $175 per person. Enjoy a toast to Mom at the Bay Gardens Beach Resort and Spa. An upscale afternoon tailored to your special lady for only EC $200 per person. Children ages 4 to 12 receive 50% off and children under 4 are absolutely free. Book by May 4th and receive a 10% discount on your entire reservation. For reservations and for more details, contact us at 457-8045 or send us an email at marketing@baygardensresorts.com. Create cherished moments this Mother's Day at Bay Gardens Resorts.
What happens when the music is stripped down to the truth? On April 29th, First National Bank presents the Teddyson John Experience at the luxurious Royalton Resorts. Raw vocals, live music, real emotion, an intimate night where Teddyson John opens the heart of the music. Also from Trinidad and Tobago, featuring Nyla Blackman. From St. Lucia, Michael Robinson.
I'm gonna make you mine.
Herb Black.
I'm so sorry.
Umpa.
That's one thing you know.
And Ricky T. Sharing their stories behind the songs and connects with you up close. This is more than a concert. It's a feeling. Stripped, April 29th. Royalton Resorts, limited seats. One unforgettable night. It's definitely my type of night and my type of vibes.
Tickets for this event are $100 USD, food and drinks inclusive. Ticket locations: Anthony's Jewelry, Castries and Baywalk, The Wave, and online 4circlestickets.com.
A newly renovated home is a special feeling, and lighting can be a big part of that. Like the LED seasonal lights many now use for energy saving and safety over the holidays. It's worth the effort to install LED lights everywhere, and you don't have to be an expert to change a bulb. Remember to turn off all lights when not in use. This includes LED lights. Saving energy is what's smart.
Ouais, messieurs, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow. Si t'en la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, me money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni toute pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pomme cette ici. Yo ka ranger pomme aussi qui besoin service. Prendre pompe yo c'est Léo. Pompe ça c'est major. Ils bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Glo ka fante. Europa ni pompe glo Léo under pour les nerfs, joints et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452-0763.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow, is keeping you connected.
Don't wait for answers. If your doctor recommends an MRI in health, every hour counts. At La Clinique de Corps, get advanced MRI scans from head to toe with no radiation and expert-reviewed reports by experienced radiologists that you can trust. Delivered the same day or within 24 hours. Right here in St. Lucia, serving the OECS. No travel, no delay. Call La Clinique de Corps at 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique de Corps, precise diagnosis, real solutions.
Experience the rhythm, feel the soul, embody the atmosphere where foundation transcends, set against the breathtaking beauty of Point Vierge, where lush cliff meets the ocean blue. Welcome to Jazz of Vierge 2026, presented by the First National Bank. It's an experience. Headline in the action: international reggae icon, Jam Messenger, Luciano. Joined by some of St. Lucia's top-notch musicians, Michelle, Michael Robinson, Level 4, all backed by the Impulse Band. Also featuring Rupert Lay Jazz Trio, 6 Mile, Cheryl Francis, St. Lucy's Steel Pan, and more. Regular tickets are $125, VIP $300 EC. Get your tickets at The Cell, Knights Gas Station, Miku, and Rose Madine. Online at fourcirclestickets.com. Sunday, April 26th. The gates are open from 1 p.m. Showtime 3 p.m. Jazz of Vierge is powered by Four Circles Tickets. Wear white and join us for an unforgettable experience.
If that Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy, you'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
That's what they don't like to hear. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We continue with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Here's what's happening there via WhatsApp message. Greetings. Yes, Tim, this gentleman makes sense on the water storage in these big black tanks. It's dangerous for our health. Even all this plastic bottled water we buying, drinking all over the place is dangerous. Also, a lot of us like to put them in the freezer, most dangerous to our health. Person continues, I don't think all these issues with water, thanks to the Most High, but I don't have all these issues with water, thanks to the Most High, but I still boil my water for drinking and making my local juice for my family. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Another person says there, just bear with me there. The person says, as we speak, some of our people are the ones causing the traffic in some areas. When you're coming down the road from the View to get to town, some people block the road because they don't want to go on the road that will take you to the VA4 bus stop. But there are a lot of vehicles coming from the police headquarters passing in front of Western Union. Some of these people are holding up the traffic. Some policemen need to direct the traffic around those areas. Even at the end of the bridge by Carrasco and Sons, some people don't want to take the lane going through Bridge Street, so they are blocking the road and causing a lot of vehicular traffic. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Another person says there, The Ministry of Equity is familiar with the case of Mr. Ishmael and his son. The requisite adjustment due to family dynamics with the mother and available assistance was provided. Okay. We need somebody from the Ministry of Equity to come forward and address this particular issue. Let's put a face to the ministry to address that particular matter, because it's a situation that I'm sure is of concern to many people who are watching and listening to this broadcast at this point in time. So it's important for you to come forward openly and officially to address those concerns, because I think many people have their doubts. They want to hear the facts. They have heard the side of Mr. Feta Ishmael. They want the other side coming from the authorities. But obviously, based on what he's saying, there is still a lot to be done to bring some level of comfort to the family. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is Newspin. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
Hi, Tim.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Tim, that's not my main event, but I want to just talk about food security for a little while.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard any concrete or clarification or verification on the fishermen situation?
No.
We're talking food security.
Oh, the fishermen who died on the seas?
Strike,
yes.
Victims.
The victims of the kinetic strike? No, we have not heard anything from them.
Now,
from the authorities.
But Tim, now we can't assume that they were the ones in the kinetic strike, because there was no investigations as far as I know. The Prime Minister said the powers that be. The police said, Mr. DeVerter said the police cannot investigate that.
And we heard, but we
So
heard
that
from,
was
I think we heard from a couple of relatives, eh?
Yeah, well, the people speculating that might be the people, but
No,
we
but
have nothing to conclude.
but if they are missing, if they are unaccounted for, so isn't it realistic
Tim,
to
they're
assume
still
that it's them?
They're still missing.
I mean, he's talking like a former police officer. I respect that, but you know, they unaccounted for, and do not forget as well. Do not forget as well the vessel in which they were probably traveling in at the time of the incident. That vessel has been retrieved. That vessel is in the possession of the police right now. Yeah.
Okay, the vessel, but Tim, we need to. And that's what Rick was talking about yesterday. We have so many open investigations, Tim. We can never make a conclusion on something because everything is speculation. But moving on, Tim. Moving on. I heard Mr. James, your caller yesterday, gave, and it's true, he's very experienced in the line of Sergeant Adams. I think he said 7 years he did there. And he was giving an insight into the walkout and so on. And he made some very pertinent points that people are not aware of. Even I was not really informed of the powers of so much of the Sergeant at Arms. But if he's listening, I want to ask him a question. We saw recently when the Speaker of the House ordered the Sergeant at Arms to prevent Mr. Chasney from leaving the House. I know that is wrong, that is unlawful, and the Speaker had no authority to do that. But the Sergeant at Arms was the one who effected the detention. Soon after that, listen well at him, soon after that, the Sergeant at Arms was transferred out of that office to outstation. That matter is before the court as far as we know. That matter has never been called. Ironically, that matter has never been heard by our courts. Mr. Chasney said he has not ever been given a date for that matter. Can you believe that? So I want to ask Sergeant James, from his experience, if that instruction was given to him by the Speaker, knowing that it was wrong, would he have carried out that instruction? I know I wouldn't do that. You know what I would have done? But I want to ask Sergeant James. You know what I would have done? Because I did participate and work as Sergeant at Arms too. I would have gone to Mr. Chasney, ask him to come back, and if he does insist he's going, I would tell him, well, it's his right to go, to leave at any time, and I would come back to the Speaker, close to him, in his hearing only, and tell him, boss, I can't force the man to come back, you know. And then let him take issue with me. I know he would have had issue with me, but I know the Speaker of the House cannot do the Sergeant at Arms anything. He has no power over the Sergeant. So, it is very interesting. So, if Sergeant James is listening, and I know others who served after him, if they're listening, and he can call to clarify that. Because I believe that the Speaker is being allowed to do a lot of nonsense. And in my as far as I'm concerned, that Speaker should not have been sitting there after the first year that he made all the mess with Mr. Chasney. He should not have been there. But I await Sergeant James' instructions and his highlighting insight into that. Thank you very much.
Okay, caller. Thank you so much for calling. Turn my attention now to Jean-T. Let's find out what is happening in the chat rooms.
Starting off on YouTube, our first comment reads, is it politics or I don't care attitude that is going on to a disabled child? Whatsoever we do to the less fortunate, we do to the Lord. Where is the mother to help? PJ Bozo Pierre is a clown that needs to stop trying to do stand-up comedy in the House of Parliament and get serious about solving the country's problems. Another YouTube comment reads, what is the government of St. Lucia's response to the U.S. sending third country deportees to St. Lucia and the wider Caribbean? Moving to Facebook, our first comment reads, but why can't the caretaker help? What difference does the outside toilet make? Go to SSDF. Just now, they ask for elections to be held every year just to make them pay to vote. We have another comment saying, PJP will say my mother was the food and nutrition teacher, not me. Until St. Lucians start demonstrating and making their demands heard by politicians, nothing will change. But isn't there a ministry for disabled folks? We have a few more comments here reading, SNS for the government of St. Lucia at this rate. You're not tired of beating your chest with valid votes. What is happening with our UK visas? Plywood is a short term. What happens to blocks and cement? We have another comment here reading, Tim, he is not the eye in CIP, so he can't get help. A wheelchair in a house that is not retrofitted to accommodate it? There you go with the same response for the past two elections. From 15-2 to 16-1, next election will be 17-0. We have more comments from our Facebook page reading, the government and the country are doing so well, but here we have this man crying to Tim for help. Anyways, 15-2, 16-1, 10.
Thank you so much for that update. And the Newspin statistician and Newspin law enforcement officer is on the line. Good afternoon to you, sir. You're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
Jande, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Before I get into the meat of the matter, I want to refer to something your earlier caller said, not Mr. Chico, the previous one. Remember in the 80s, all of us were being cautioned about acid rain?
Yes, sir.
That's the word the gentleman was trying to find.
Okay.
That rainwater was poisoned through acid rain. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
We were advised not to drink rainwater. I guess all that has changed. So, to Mr. Chico now. Foster, I try my best to stay out of politics. I don't want to get involved in no political discussion. But any sergeant at arms whose wolf is salt will know the rules of Parliament and the standing orders of Parliament. The only person that can give the sergeant at arms a direct order in Parliament when it comes to really the sergeant's functions, the sergeant himself.
Not even the speaker?
The speaker can give him guidance as to what's happening between the two sides.
Okay.
The two sides. If there's something amiss, I can tell you something. A female president of the Chamber of Commerce came into the house without a headgear at one point. We all know who that is, Tim. There was only one female president of the Chamber of Commerce.
Ingrid Skerritt?
That's it. At that time, no female could enter the house without a headgear. Remember that?
Yeah.
And the speaker pointed at her. And I went to her and told her politely that she's not wearing a headgear. And she opened her eyes in astonishment and said, "What?" Then the clerk of Parliament quickly came to her rescue and offered her a hat. And that was that. But in the rules of Parliament is clear. As Sergeant at Arms, Mrs. Frog-Bourboin has said it time and time again. The Sergeant at Arms is responsible for the running of the House of Assembly, not the runnings between the opposite factions. The Sergeant at Arms must stay clear of the debating faction. That's the opposition and the government sides. That belongs to the Speaker. That belongs to the Speaker. Anything that happens outside that, right, is in the purview of the Sergeant at Arms. And if I was Sergeant at Arms on that day, and such an order was given, I would have stepped outside the doors of Parliament and pretend I didn't hurt him. Because that was not a lawful order. It was not a lawful order. If a Speaker of the House is dissatisfied with the performance of a Sergeant at Arms, they refer that to the immediate supervisor, which is the officer in charge of the Northern Division, not to the Sergeant at Arms. Because Sergeant at Arms comes to the House of Assembly at the request of the officer in charge of the Northern Division. You understand what I'm saying, Tim?
Yes, sir.
The person in Parliament that can dictate to the Speaker, to the Sergeant at Arms, is the Clerk of Parliament. The Clerk of Parliament is the one who controls Parliament, Tim. In my case, it was first Mrs. Marina Yad, like I mentioned, and then Miss Gustave, who I had very, very good relations with. They set the agenda. They set the pace. And there must be very, very good relations between the Speaker and the Sergeant at Arms. The Sergeant at Arms, most times on a morning, will go to the Speaker's office and sit with the Speaker. And the Speaker will entail what's going to be happening for the day and what is expected of him and what not. And the Sergeant at Arms will take it from there. But not in the August House team. That house belongs to the Speaker with the debate, but the rest of the building belongs to the Sergeant. The Sergeant must remain focused on what goes on around him. And the rest, in order to stop this man from going out of the house, is the biggest rubbish I ever heard, Tim. You can prevent somebody from going in, can't prevent somebody from going out. Right? But politics, Tim, I want to stay clear of that. I have my opinion on certain things. I opine. But I want to stay very, very, very clear of being involved in any kind of political debate. Tim.
But let me ask you, what the Speaker did then, was it illegal in trying to prevent the leader of the opposition from leaving the Parliament?
Well, I don't know about the illegality, Tim. Okay. Firstly, that wasn't all, Tim. The Speaker actually adjourned the House, I think, for a few minutes and left to collect evidence from his vehicle, you know, Tim. He left the Parliament to go and get evidence in support of what a particular side was saying, you know, Tim. The Speaker only comes into play when a member of the House rises on a point of order, or a point of elucidation, on some point, you know. The Speaker can't act on his own, you know, Tim. You understand what I'm saying, Tim?
Yeah.
Somebody must put on the light to catch the Speaker's eye for the Speaker to come in, you know. Yes, honorable member for Castries South or Castries East, you understand?
Yeah.
But he can't just stay and take decisions on his own, you know. Like I said, he's the referee. He's the referee. If there's a penalty to be given, he gives it. If it's a free kick, he can give the free kick. A corner kick, he can give the corner kick. But there must be an infringement against the rules of Parliament, and somebody must raise it, you know, for the Speaker to act. You understand him?
Mm-hmm.
The Speaker can't just say and take decisions, you know. Somebody must bring it to his attention, you know. Somebody must raise it. He can only act if somebody raised an objection to something. I know the gentleman personally. I consider the gentleman a friend. In fact, we were friends. I don't know for now. We have not met in a long time. He was president of Castries Football, and I was his first vice president. He's a gentleman I know for a long time. I'm a friend of the family. His brothers are also my friends. You know? So I'm not going to bash him. I'm not going to do that. But any sergeant at arms who's worth his salt should know what is a lawful directive and what's not. I'm not going to ask them to be rude to the Speaker inside the House. Step back, open the door, and step out. That's not worth listening to. You understand what I'm saying, Tim?
Yes, sir.
Let the axe fall where it may. But he can't do nothing. You have to refer it to your boss, which is officer in charge of Northern Division.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. All right. Cool.
You just heard there from the Newspin statistician and the Newspin law enforcement officer. The broadcast continues in just a moment on this, the most monitored talk show in the world.
Advance your career at Lightspark Training with a globally recognized certification. Conveniently located on High Street Castries, Lightspark offers a wide range of programs to make the most of your career. Certifications in project management, risk management, quality management, marketing, ACC accounting, human resources, Microsoft, Cisco, and IT technician certification, graphic design, web design, and programming. Complete a diploma in accounting in 6 months or a bachelor's degree in just over a year. Call us today at 451-8918 or visit us at www.lightspark.com.
First National Bank is here for you. Let's make your first wish come true. With a mortgage built around you, tailored to make sure everything's smooth. 100% financing, it's true. Get a first wish mortgage, it's the best move. Get your mortgage now and fulfill your first wish. Just knowing that First National Bank is here for you. Let's make your first wish come true.
Visit your First National Bank branch or firstnationalbankonline.com to apply for your first wish mortgage.
Are you suffering from kidney stones, leaking urine, also called urinary incontinence, or prostate problems? Don't wait. These problems don't fix themselves. At La Clinique du Corps, our internationally recognized urologist provides advanced urinary incontinence solutions and treats kidney stones and prostate conditions using modern technology to bring fast relief and real results. No more discomfort, no more uncertainty, just expert care you can trust. Call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950 today. La Clinique du Corps, where precision saves lives.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time?
Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road V4 at 454-6555.
Stop paying full price. With Flow, you can slash your bill in half. You heard right. Cut your mobile bill in half when you add mobile to internet. That's the most reliable Wi-Fi at home. Plus, all the data you need on the go. So don't wait. Double your connection and double your value for half the price. Add mobile to internet today. Visit in-store or online at discoverflow.co for more details.
Bob and Dave were very proud to buy their mom a new energy-saving fridge with lots of smart settings. They remember the old ways of energy saving. Mom always said, "Close the fridge, you're wasting current." Smart advice then, smart advice now. Close the fridge, you're wasting current. Saving energy is what's smart.
Art in the City is back, rooted in culture, bold in expression. Brought to you by the Cultural Development Foundation. On Friday, April 17th, the celebration begins in Beaufort. Art in the Street at the New Market Complex from 10 a.m., followed by readings and rhythms at 7 p.m. On April 24th and 25th, indulge in the Icon Series 4-course gala dinner at Sandals Grand, honoring culinary master Edward Chef Harry Joseph. On April 26th and 27th, theater lovers gather at Warehouse 11 for Don't Call Me Baby Doll, written and directed by Travis Weeks. Or head to the Caribbean Cinemas for screenings from the Jumpstart Film Project. From April 27th to May 16th, experience Life in Color, a visual arts exhibition at the Audi Showroom and Orange Grove Plaza, featuring works by St. Lucian master artists. On April 28th, the stage comes alive at Sandals Grand with 10 to 1, the Mighty Sparrow musical, produced by Raul Gibbons and directed by Louis McWilliams. On May 1st, journey to Ancillary for Fish Friday, an evening of storytelling with George Fish Alphonse and Kidel Sonny. May 2nd and 3rd, experience Triptych, directed by Kendall Hippolyte and Warehouse 11. On Monday 4th, feel the power of poetry at Voices of the Underground, featuring world-renowned dub poet Linton Kwesi Johnson. From May 5th to 7th, Artscape concerts pop up in unexpected spaces, dance, theater, music. And on May 7th and 8th, discover handcrafted treasures at T-Tax ABC, Craft and Souvenir Market. On the Rodney Bay Strip, Art in the City 2026, rooted in culture, bold in expression.
Super Jazz and Arts, that's the best community jazz event in St. Lucia.
You heard it. Now come to Sufret Jazz and Arts, the ultimate experience. Gramps Morgan. Voice. Montiel. VYB. Afar Alain. Usher the Fun Machine, Imran Nerdy, Reasons Orchestra, Boo Hinkson and the True Tones. Now on a Saturday, May 2nd, doors open from 3 p.m. Get your tickets at $150 or indulge in the ultimate VIP Village experience for $400. Purchase at FourCircleTickets.com, the Cell Outlets Island-wide, and the Sufre Foundation office. 9 incredible artists, 1 unforgettable night. And also join us for DJ Asuf, Creole Breakfast Fest, Sunday, May 3rd. Admission free. The ultimate weekend in the ultimate location. Sufre Jazz, the ultimate experience.
The most monitored talk show in the world still to come. We have our Newspin question of the day first. The Newspin news of the day reads, Pakistan's defense minister says Israel is a curse for humanity. Pakistan's defense minister says Israel is a curse for humanity. The Newspin news of the day still to come. The Newspin question of the day. Final update from you, Jante. What is happening in the chat rooms?
Starting off on YouTube, our first comment reads, where is the Minister of Tourism to explain why tourist arrival dropped so much in 2025? The PM and the Minister of Foreign Affairs have not made a formal statement on the US's kinetic strike on ocean fishermen. This SLP government has increased government expenditure by at least 50% since 2021, and we have nothing to show for it. Moving to Facebook, our first comment reads, throwing out all kinds of figures, yet none of you are passing this information to the special prosecutor for him to get some work done and genuinely earn at least one of his monthly salaries. That's false imprisonment to stop someone from leaving the house. We have another comment from our Facebook page reading, Tim, did this gentleman say that the child's mother is Delia Ismail from Ministry of Equity?
No, she's not from the ministry, but the ministry, according to him, is familiar with her, with the person in question.
I heard $16 a gallon is cheaper than $13 a gallon. Please make it make sense. What happened to the $240 million collected from CIP in 2024 and the equal or greater amount for 2022 to date? We have another comment saying, what happened to the $69 million that was borrowed to distill the John Compton Dam? Met Zot and he was a mumu in front of Marco Rubio. What kind of Met is that? We have another comment reading, you see how low and wicked some people are. They gave him a wheelchair. So what? He'll eat a wheelchair every day? PJP can never be my prime minister. Caller, it depends if they have a cheap coating or a food grade, one suitable for high temperature. We have another comment here saying, why were CIP monies used to campaign and buy votes instead of developing the country? Caller, if you come back with the smell of mango tree on you, it was considered a success. Papa Upabo, all hacks just jealous of one man, poor you. Another news spinner said, them fellas pocket full, you really think they care? Yeah, right. Guess what? PJP is building more wellness centers for you all. And yet, y'all flubbos well enjoying the pension money. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Jante, for that final update. Somebody says that, Tim, in case people do not know, false imprisonment in British law is a common law tort and criminal offense involving the unlawful total restriction of a person's freedom of movement without legal justification. It requires intent acts to confine someone within set boundaries against their will and is actionable per se, meaning no physical damage is needed. I suspect this person is the Newspin lawyer. Thank you so much for that WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. It says there, as we speak, the Speaker of the House needs to be disciplined because remember he also went to check the video to see if the minister pushed the lady. He is not a police officer. Read him his criteria and what he is being paid to do. As we speak, all the ministers should be told their role as a minister and the post they hold, lest they think the country belongs to them. It's we, the public, who pay their salaries. As we speak, we pay their salaries. That's according to a WhatsApp message. See if we have another WhatsApp message. And somebody says there, The Speaker of the House should step down as clearly there is a conflict of interest and he cannot be neutral. Yet another WhatsApp message, and it says, well, Tim, if the Speaker cannot do any of those things, better we turn off that speaker. That's according to a WhatsApp message. And there's some more. Another one says, Tim, them ex-officers need to take a back seat. When they were in the force, they were silent and did nothing, not even to pass on their knowledge. Some more of your messages. Somebody says there, why is this female vendor parking her vehicle below Dilly's supermarket and selling her produce on the sidewalk in front of a traffic light? Where are the police officers or city council? Shaking my head. That's according to a WhatsApp message. Another one just coming to hand. Tim, what happened with that case between the reporter and Hilaire? Well, it is still before the courts, I am told. All right, that'll do it for our messages. Finally, the Newspin question of the day. It reads, what should Alan Shastney do at the next sitting of the House? What should Alan Shastney do at the next sitting of the House? Let's listen to Rick Wayne, part of the contribution he made to our broadcast yesterday.
So Alan, whether he spoke or not spoke, will do nothing. Whatever, if Alan shows to him, Mr. Macho Man, and stand up and talk, and Richard Frederick and all them start questioning him and calling him white or calling him, what did you do when you were there and all that shit. And let us say they were nice for a change and behaved properly and said absolutely nothing while Alan was talking. What difference that make? The eyes have it, Tim. The eyes have it. So I am not getting into any kind of discussion whether at this point, whether Alan should stay or not stay or speak or walk out or whatever. That's the order of the day. And which party? You know, the first thing Kenny Anthony did before he even was officially the leader of the Labour Party, you know what he did? He caused his team to boycott over a budget thing. That was the first act of Kenny Anthony, to boycott the House. First act. So the matter and all the stuff that's thrown in the mix, you want to go through all that crap? I don't want to go through this kind of junk. I am saying, look, we've been through all of this over and over and over. The Alan situation is the current one. Another time, all of those things are dealing with the bird feathers and not dealing with the dying bird. And the dying bird is the country.
What you heard there was a part of a contribution made yesterday by Rick Wayne. Don't forget, please, as we conclude the broadcast, like the video, share, subscribe to the Newspin YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the Newspin channel grow. My name is Timothy Poleon. Here's to a safe and enjoyable weekend, and please join us. Yeah, you could join us on Monday afternoon at 12:30. Goodbye.